Greetings, nature lovers. Hello, it is Chloe, and it has been so nice. It's actually supposedly a bit foggy today, and I can feel a little, I don't want to call it sprinkles, but like a bit of damp in the air. So I don't know how long I'm going to be out here, but I wanted to do a little vlog outside today. This is my outdoor nature area. No matter where I turn back here, I'm surrounded by gorgeous trees and trees with moss and all kinds of awesome nature. That was one of the reasons we moved back to Washington. And I've been wanting to do this for a while, but as you know, here in Washington, it can be quite wet during a good portion of the year. And I also thought you might like something other than my creamy back look of my creamy walls in my house. Hoping to get tapestries or whatever up soon. But anyways, so we're outside, and I just did a booth event. It was wonderful, and of course, I forgot to take pictures, but they put some on Facebook, so I'm going to be contacting them to see if I can't get them to email me directly one or two of the pictures they took. It was a lovely May Day, actually, Beltane celebration. It was the day before May, and I had a lot of fun. And I just couldn't decide what oracle to bring out. I have a couple that would go really well. The atmosphere here. But you know what? I also wanted to, aside from the usual oracle type thing on divination, I wanted to talk about nature spirituality and how just as much as I am a pagan, I guess, or a heathen, or however you want to put it. Some people say I'm a druid. Others people say I'm a fae bent pagan or eclectic. All kinds of lovely labels you can use for oneself. But for me, I just love nature. It makes me feel more relaxed and less stressful. And living around all these beautiful souls, it makes me feel closer to the animal we truly are. And why would we want to be anywhere else, honestly? You hear all those birds? They are so happy today. Yeah. My poor cat, she's looking at me like, why can't I be outside? So my cat gets injured so often, we made the choice to keep her indoors. All right, so yeah, this is my bit of nature. And I really didn't have a great plan. I was just like, I've been wanting to go outside and vlog. I'm outside, so I'm outside. It's a bit of loveliness here. Okay. I need to come up with a plan. So, in the mornings, I have a bit of time by myself because my boys are not morning children. They don't wake up easily in the mornings, so I've just adjusted to it. Homeschooling solved a lot of those kind of problems. I was not much of a morning person either when I was growing up, but I didn't have this much of a problem as they do. And I don't know how much of it is me and they've gotten used to this and how much of it is just how they naturally function. But I try to take advantage of this morning time when they're like not really active and kind of sluggish, and either do housework or whatever. Sometimes even I sleep in just because I'm so tired. But today I got outside. The birds are so lovely. Once in a while I miss Utah because now we would be seeing lots of magpies. It was one of the really cool things I liked about Utah was I had never seen magpies before. And now that I'm on the West Coast, instead of magpies, the one thing I used to miss when I was in Utah was squirrels. Only in the mountain ranges in certain areas would you see squirrels in the Salt Lake Valley. They weren't all over the place. Matter of fact, you could go through lots of sections of the valley and not see a squirrel at all. And then you'd go to certain parks or other areas closer to the mountain and the more green areas of the valley, and you might see a few. And here I have 2 or 3 different breeds of squirrels. There's these little mini red ones. I don't know their name yet. I'm planning on researching them and finding out about the different species. And then there's larger ones that look more like the squirrels I'm used to down in California, but they're gray with a kind of a browny orange to reddish tint. But they're very cute. And the little red ones are so funny. Matter of fact, I think they were teasing my old cat, when we first moved here. They would on purposely come up onto the deck back in the back here and like nibble at the things that had fallen from the trees that were on the deck and then stare at the window at my cat and then nibble at it again and then like hang out for a little bit and run off. So it was so funny. Again, it could have nothing to do with my cat, but she was staring at him so hard. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, baby. Not for you. Yeah. So, it's just so nice to be out here. My boys are not very outdoorsy, although we do take them camping and we do go to things like Faeryworlds. We go to that one like every other year to every third year. And this year we're going because we live so close. I'm looking forward to that. I considered trying to get a booth at that event, but it is so terribly expensive. It's like, I don't know. Unless it came with like camping pass too. I don't know. But it is an awesome, it's like, if you haven't been to Faeryworlds, it's the equivalent of Woodstock for Celtic Fae slash all things weird and eclectic and Fae, basically. It's a music festival, huge vending market, workshops, classes. A good deal of the time, Brian Froud and his family are there, and bands like Omni have come. The most famous band that's there, I believe, every year, I haven't heard that they haven't been, is a band called Woodland, and it's all everything from folk, like, I don't want to say rock, but it's an eclectic mix of different kinds of music that reflect the Fae essence of Fae and just silliness, and not silliness, although I have gone to a few music performances where there's a lot of playful, silly verses and music, but it more calls to that spirit of connection to all things, and I don't know if I should say an animistic view of the world. That's more my bent, but it definitely pulls on that aspect of wonder and inclusiveness, and just illuminating the world in a different view through music and the essence of Fae. And it isn't just the music, there's art, there's people in costume, wondrous creativity shared and explored, and aspects of pure playful fun. Bubble blowers, hula hoopers, people totally getting into their Fae beingness through characters they create and embody for the weekend. Not everybody, but many, and they are awesome to interact with and explore as observers or interacting with them. It's really awesome. Oh, and I've got to say, I don't see them today, but many a time out here, we don't have like a fence around the house. Like, I think there's a fence on the opposite side of the building, but like a lot of the properties are not completely fenced off here, so we have roaming deer that come this is partially my neighbor's back forest area, and then we have more property over to the side, which you can't see here. But it kind of leads right next to the next door neighbor, so I didn't want to expose my neighbor's stuff. But it overall, my backyard is just, and it's like, I don't want to say it's shared space, but nobody is fussed about being out and about. Like, you know, it's kind of open here. My husband lived here as a child. I moved here about 10 years ago when I was an adult, and people are pretty friendly in the sense that they don't mind if you cross the acreage to get to something or just to explore the wilderness as long as you're careful. Um, and so the deer just like walk through all the properties freely and nibble and rest and do whatever. And you see their babies and their different groupings. It's utterly lovely. And if you're at all drawn to like, oh, who's that goddess, that deer goddess? Elena, is that her name? Elena. I've seen some books out. I haven't read them yet, but this would be a lovely place for one to try to connect with that deer goddess energy. So yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, Faerieworlds is awesome, and we'd been coming back to the West Coast off and on for years. Matter of fact, one of my children was conceived at Faeryworlds, my youngest, and he was quite a surprise because around that time we had been trying to decide whether or not we would even have another child, and we were even talking about uh, one of us getting fixed because don't get me wrong, my youngest is quite an adventuresome boy, but he is quite a handful, and we had him um, when I was going into my 30s. And as a, I don't want to say an older mom because I'm like, I barely got into my 40s now, so I know I'm much older now. But as someone not starting having kids like in their early 20s, which was actually the pattern of almost everybody else in my family, is to have kids in their late teens, early 20s. Um, we had my eldest when I was turning 30, actually 29 or something like that. Yeah, turning 30. And then my next child came along due to the fairies, as I say, quite literally, as far as I'm concerned. Like we were putting it out there. What should we do? What should we do? You know, I've always been, I don't want to say a low energy person, but I definitely don't go the speed everybody else does. And the challenge of raising a child was like, I could do it. I was doing it and enjoying as much as I could. And still, I mean, I've decided to homeschool, so I'm still doing kind of my own pace with my kids. Um, and it's been an adaptation for my husband because some of the things I've wanted to do is not what he had even thought of as raising kids in such a way. So I've kind of taken him out of a comfort zone. Um, but even I myself have challenged myself in the decisions that I've made. I hadn't really thought about homeschooling when I was younger either. I was a public school kid, and um, as a matter of fact, school was a refuge for me because my mom, um, she was a very loving mother, but she kind of provided a bit of chaos in the family life. Not because she was trying to, it just trouble seemed to follow her or find her. And we had to live with whatever was happening due to it, us kids. My sister and I mostly, and then later my brother came along when I was around 17, and the chaos didn't stop then. It just, no, not at all. So, and that's her story, so I won't like divulge everything, but it made me really branch and seek out other ways when I got to be of an age and where it was my legal right and my Um, I just felt pulled toward finding another path because the way I'd been raised in the spirituality and culture that I had been raised was not helping me. And I always found peace, comfort, and a place to vent in nature. So why do I need to keep my faith with a spirit, deity, whatever, that I can never see or touch or feel involved in my life? Yeah. I can hear the birds, the wind in the trees. I can go out in nature, and if I spend just enough time within it, it'll fairly quickly calm me down or bring me to calm, peacefulness. I'm trying to help my sons learn this because they get really riled up. Um, they're very techy, and I think the side effect of electronics and tech and gaming is a bit of aggression, especially when it comes to gaming. I don't know about tech in general. Like, I don't believe violence comes from tech in general. But if you have gaming boys or girls, I do feel that there's an aspect of desensitization that happens because of the type of games that can be played. And yeah, like, I personally don't really enjoy zombie anything, really. Um, I uh, I feel like I should someday just bring a sound recorder and just record the bird song so I can just play it whenever I want to at night because I can't hear it as well in the house as I can being out here. Oh, this is a bit more rambly than I anticipated. I just really wanted to get out here and show you guys something other than my beige, creamy white, beigey walls. Uh, okay, I think I'll end there for now. I guess I didn't really have a point. I thought maybe I might go through some of my oracles, but it is starting to mist. I think there's fog, which is why you don't see really, really bright light back there. That's all foggy. It's all covered in cloud, but it's like not raining. It's just like you can feel little droplets on your skin. And my computer